Welcome back, my friends, to Life Through a Potato's Eye. Recently, I was reminded by one of my followers, and I'll always give credit where credit is due, that I love motivation. I used to work for a tech company, and each day I would start the day out with a motivational quote. So I'm going to do that again. Today, I've chosen a motivational quote by Bruce Lee, my favorite martial artist. Be water, my friends. Empty your minds. Be formless, shapeless, like water. You put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. You put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. Now, water can flow or it can crash. It can flow gently down a stream or it can erode mountains away. Be water, my friends. So you know us potatoes. We have lots and lots of eyes, and we like watching all the interesting things that you humans enjoy doing up top. On this podcast, we dig into the foods, fuels, and the freedoms of your world. And of course, the foundations that are cracking underneath it all and ruining my world. I'm here to ask those big questions that nobody in your world seems to want to ask. And today, those questions are, why are the compost piles steamy, and why do the biogas digesters sound like they're brewing up fart smoothies? You know, the important questions of the day, right? So buckle up, tuber troopers, because today we're diving deep into the delightfully hot mess that is hot composting and the burpy brilliance of biogas digesters. It's about to get steamy, stinky, and scientifically sensational, giving some options on what you can do now to maybe start helping to save my planet. So first up, hot composting. It's not just your regular rot. No, sir. This is your Vegas pool party of decomposition. We got our microbes in Speedos, thermophilic bacteria doing cannonballs, and the occasional earthworm sipping on a margarita. I love the idea of hot composting. It gets up to 160 degrees. Meanwhile, I'm just a potato in the pantry, and I can't get over 65 or else I start to sprout. Some microbes out there living up the spa life. So hot composting is what happens when your organic matter, your food scraps, your leaves, your corn husk you swore you'd turn into art 4 months ago, get piled up just right into the perfect balance of carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, and moisture. After that, the microbial DJ cranks up the heat, and I mean heat. We're talking 130 to 160 degrees Fahrenheit. That's enough to kill weed seeds, pathogens, and even the dreams of a cold compost pile. Aww. That excess heat can then be used for heating greenhouses, used for heating water by running either PEX pipe or garden hose even through the pile as you're building it. The heat from the pile will then heat the water in the hose, and that can be then used for showering or for radiant heating throughout your house. Now, this may not be a long-term solution, and it may be, but it may be something to keep in mind for the coming decade or century that we have seen coming. So let's break it down, right? Carbon is your browns. Your dry leaves, your carbon or your cardboard, your sawdust. Think carbs, not your food carbs, because that would be a little bit detrimental. Your nitrogen is your greens, your food scraps, your grass clippings, your coffee grounds, and of course your livestock manure. And of course it's your livestock manure. Think your proteins, not that kind of protein, you weirdos. Mix them in a 30-to-1 ratio, like a well-balanced smoothie for bacteria. You want approximately 3 parts brown to 1 part green. Think of it like making a lasagna. You can't just have tomato sauce or you just have soup. You have to have some dry layers in there. Psst. If you have stanky piles, it's because you have too much green. You need some more brown. That is your armor. That is your odor armor, my friends. Use it generously. Your compost should just feel like a wrung out sponge, not a soaked towel, not the Amazon rainforest, just moist. Yes, I know the word is gross, but the concept is gold, my friends. and then aerate it, baby. Oxygen is your final ingredient. Give that sucker a toss every few days, and your pile will sizzle like a summer romance. Or like the frying pan that I'm being sliced into right now. Remember the golden ratio. Hot composting isn't just fast, it's efficient. You can get finished composting in 4 to 6 weeks. That's like Netflix binge speed in the world of decomposition. But beware. If your pile gets too wet, it'll go anaerobic. And that means your pile gets funky. And I don't mean the good kind of funky, more like something died in grandma's attic and now it's trying to haunt me kind of funky. Some things to just avoid. They're troublemakers in general. Meat and animal products like dairy and eggs are generally not recommended for standard composting due to potential health risks and attracting pests. So just better to avoid them. While they can be composted under specific conditions, the process requires careful management to avoid issues. Bones are generally not ideal for composting because they decompose very slowly, potentially attracting pests and creating unpleasant odors. Oil and grease are generally not recommended for composting because they can create anaerobic conditions, attract pests, and slow down the decomposition process. While some vegetable oils in small quantities can be composted, large amounts of grease or oil can create a barrier that prevents air and water from reaching other compostable materials, leading to unpleasant odors and attracting unwanted guests, the little critters that come into your home. You don't want them, right? So stay away from that. Citrus overload. A little lemon is fine. A grapefruit massacre, not so much. Too much citrus in a compost pile can be problematic because it can make the compost too acidic, potentially slowing down the decomposition process and harming beneficial microbes like worms. While citrus peels are a good source of nutrients like nitrogen, potassium, and phosphorus, moderation in all things is key, and in this case, it is to avoid the disrupting the compost natural balance. And then, of course, pet waste. Unless you are really knowing what you're doing and you own your own hazmat gear, just don't do it, okay? Just stay away from it. If you're composting indoors because you don't have land, but you still want to utilize the compost for flowering gardens or indoor garden growing because compost is the manna from heaven for us potatoes, use a vented bin with a charcoal filter. Line the bottom with shredded paper and empty regularly. You can freeze scraps until you're ready to compost. Yes, the freezer is a smell vacuum, so it is possible. However, I would caution with what you put in the freezer because that smell will trap into your other foods. I'm sure everybody understands this and already knows this, but just don't confuse your frozen apple cores with your popsicles if you go that route.
Ugh. Brother, ugh. What's that?
There are now countertop composters, also known as electric composters. These can process food scraps into usable compost in a matter of hours, sometimes just a day or two. The exact duration depends upon the specific model and the chosen mode of operation of that particular model. Okay, so if compost doesn't stink, what does it smell like, you might ask, right? Drum roll, please. I'm pretty sure I have a drum. There it is. Earth. Fresh soil. Like a walk through the woods after a rain. Enjoying those actinomycetes. You know, loving that smell of microbe pee, right? If you haven't seen my soil microbe video, please go check that out and have a laugh. If your compost smells like life, you're doing it right. If it smells like death, maybe revisit your browns, my friends. All right, so now let's shift gears a little bit from hot rot to gassy greatness. The magical world of biogas digesters. Biogas and compost are like siblings. One gives you soil, the other gives you fuel. It's kind of like me and my brother. One became a doctor, I became a podcast host stuck in a potato. A biogas digester is basically a tummy for your trash. It's like a cow's stomach married a science lab and moved into your backyard. You toss in your organic matter, your kitchen waste, your manure, or even that expired yogurt you swore you'd eat 2 weeks ago. And instead of compost, you get methane gas and a lovely liquid fertilizer. The process is anaerobic digestion. This is science speak for we're breaking stuff down without oxygen. Unlike hot composting's aerobics class, this is more like a sweaty nap in a dark cave. Bacteria breaking down waste without oxygen, producing methane. That means my compost pile is technically smarter than most of my exes because it can work under pressure. Sorry. Inside the sealed digester tank, we have a process going on. That process consists of hydrolysis, big molecules getting broken down into smaller ones. Acidogenics, these molecules get fermented into acids, and it's basically the rave stage. There it is. And then, of course, there's acidogenesis. Come on, give me a break. I'm a potato. These acids become acetic acid, CO2, and hydrogen. And then methanogenesis. Ta-da! Methane gas is born. It's like the digestive system of an invisible cow that farts energy. People think renewable energy is about solar and wind, but biogas is the only one that comes with a built-in fart joke. Oh, that wasn't as funny. And the gas, you can burn it to cook, heat water, or even generate electricity. One family's food waste can run a small stove for hours a day. If you really want to impress someone on a date, don't take them to a fancy restaurant. Just casually mention you own a biogas digester. Nothing says romance like, baby, this dinner is powered by last week's leftovers. So don't get too gassy just yet. Biogas digesters need consistent temperature. Ideally around 95 degrees Fahrenheit. Obviously that's body temperature for those that don't know. If it gets too cold, the microbes get sluggish, like humans say they do after Thanksgiving dinner. You know, because turkey, and I think I heard one of you humans, I believe his name was Chappelle. He said that ribs are for black people, right? Am I right? Am I right? Come on, am I right? So also, you have to feed it regularly. And avoid throwing anything in that is too spicy for microbes, like chemicals. Of course, anything chemical-wise is going to be detrimental. Too much citrus, or the horror of horrors, plastics. Don't ever throw plastics into your compost or your biogas digester. Now for the ultimate rot rumble. Now, in the left corner, we have hot compost. Quick, dry, and nutrient-rich. In the right corner, biogas digesters. Stinky, gassy, and powering your toaster with the power of... Who wins? Well, they're both amazing, just for different roles. Like Batman and Alfred, or mashed potatoes and French fries. Hot composting is great if you have a yard or garden, want rich, crumbly compost, and don't mind turning a pile now and then. Biogas digesters are great if you want renewable energy, live in a warm climate, or have the potential of heating that biogas digester, and produce regular food waste, which nowadays, who doesn't? And of course, enjoy the idea of poop-powered energy. And who wouldn't? Come on. Really? All right. Whether you're spinning a compost pile like a salad spinner on steroids, or feeding your biogas beast with last night's lentils, you're turning trash into treasure. Organic waste is only a problem if we treat it like garbage. The EPA estimates that each year, U.S. food loss and waste embodies 170 million metric tons of carbon dioxide equivalent GHG emissions. That is equivalent to the annual CO2 emissions of 42 coal-fired power plants. So maybe we should start looking into each individual household producing their own methane gas for their own household instead of 42 coal-fired power plants worth of emissions every year because we just throw it all away. But with a little knowledge and a lot of enthusiastic microbes, we can close the loop and keep things cycling like nature intended. All right, compost crusaders, let's raise our rings. Soil from our greens and our browns. Gas from the burps of the digesters. Microbes, the tiny heroes in the pile. And life from the worms and the rain.
Go Planet!
By your powers combined, I am Captain Planet!
Captain Planet, he's our hero. Gonna take pollution down to zero.
Plus, if you ever feel down, just remember, even a potato can start a podcast. All right, today's rot fact. Did you know that a single cow's methane burps can power a small fridge for a day? That is unbelievable. Unbelievable. That's a little better. It's the eye that sees the rot, turns it hot, and makes it not. The wasteful way we used to be that is now power, poop, and potpourri, boy howdy. Until next time, stay rooted, stay weird, or don't. I am sure I cover you. And never underestimate what a pile of old salad can become. Please take care of yourselves and your neighbors. You don't know what they're going through. Look out for each other. Everybody's important. It's time to get back to that idea. We need to get back to integrity. We are only as good as the integrity that we hold. Integrity needs to make a comeback. It's time, guys. Let's make it happen. And for those inside of the United States, always, always remember those Second Amendment rights. Your response time will always be faster than the response of the police. Stay strapped, please, my friends, so that you don't get clapped. And for those outside of the United States, stop giving up your rights. Take care of yourselves the best way that you know how. You're also important. As always, please like, subscribe, and share if you laugh so that others might laugh at me or make fun of me. I don't care. And for now, this is Spud, signing off from the pantry. Keep it compost classy, my friends.